Yo, what's up, everybody? This is Chuck Creekmur, aka Jigsaw of allhiphop.com, and we are here with one of the dopest producers from one of the most iconic rap groups ever, Havoc of Mobb Deep.
Thank you. Word
What's
up.
up?
Ain't nothing, man. Just chilling out, staying safe, self-distancing, and
Yeah,
celebrating and celebrating the 25th anniversary of the Infamous album.
that's what's up, man. Yo, I'm so happy to be talking to you right now. Because I'm sure you already noticed, man. We've been at it for a minute, all of us. So
Yeah.
it's always an honor and a pleasure to talk to you. One of the things, well, before I even go there with it, I wanna show you something real quick, and this is way back in '03. This is
Damn.
first magazine.
Word.
I had
Word. Yes.
right in the studio
Yes.
back in the day, yo.
Yep. I remember that.
It's one of my favorite articles, man.
That was a dope write-up too. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, salute. So first things, man, obviously you just mentioned it, social distancing and everything. How are you maintaining in the whole corona virus, COVID-19 world?
I mean, for me, you know what I'm saying? It's like a kind of like a blessing in disguise. The family staying safe, everybody is healthy, thank God. You know what I mean? But it's giving me a time to reflect, you know what I mean? So um I'm just really more just focused on my craft a little bit more, and just on reflecting things I might want to change, of how I'm doing things. So I'm kind of dealing with it pretty cool. I'm not complaining that I can't go to no malls or nothing. It's kind of helping me from not spending too much money, so it's all good.
Yeah, no doubt. Now let's talk about the infamous Mobb Deep, the album. Really just one of the most perfect albums ever, honestly. Like one of the most perfect albums I've ever heard in my life. It's definitely in my top 5 albums of all times. Can you first talk about reflecting on it turning 25? Most albums, especially from the 90s era, they don't make it out of the 90s. And you can see remnants of it now even, but we'll get into that later. But first talk about actually how it feels for such an album to turn 25.
I mean, for lack of better words, it feels really great, man. I'm humbled by it. It lets you know like that it survived this long, that your work is validated, what you did. It's an experience that it's hard to describe, man. You know what I mean? It's really, I'm thankful.
Mm-hmm. Dope. Now the one thing, with this album in particular, I always think about the creative process and the conditions around what made it such a dope album. You guys had, Juvenile Hell before this in
Yep.
'93, and it didn't really hit the same way. What changed with you guys in the creative process, the circumstances maybe that you were in at that time?
Mm-hmm.
Prodigy. What was different? And the whole Mobb Deep crew, like the whole clique.
Yeah, well, a lot of times when people, when they go through failure, you know what I mean, they let it weigh them down, or it like stop them from doing their dream. It actually bolstered us, you know what I mean, to make better music, you know what I mean.
Uh-huh.
So we used it as a tool, you know what I mean. So what really changed was our mindset of like, all right, we messed up this first time, you know what I mean? And the second time is like, you don't really get second chances. So we knew it was like, do or die. So we just poured our heart out into the next project that we was gonna do. And that was the Infamous album.
Yeah. Now Q-Tip had his hands pretty heavy in the album. Can you talk about his impact and maybe others that were involved that had a fingerprint?
His impact was really uh it was inspiring, you know what I'm saying? It kind of set a tone, you know what I mean? It gave confidence to me, you know, to have somebody of his stature at that time taking the time out to help us. You know what I mean? So two young brothers trying to come up. So he had like a big, huge impact because his energy that he brought to the table, you know what I'm saying? He was so gangster with it. Like he came in and, you know, he wasn't trying to be a person like he was acting like he was all that. He was just there being himself and adding his expertise to the table.
Mm-hmm. And you have, I mean, the album is so brolic. You know, you got Nas, you got Ray, Ghost, Big Noid, so many heavy hitters. How did some of those collabs? Were they organic? I know you were label mates with,
Mhm,
but you know,
mhm.
you ain't have everybody from Wu on there. You know, it
Right.
just almost seemed like perfect collaborations.
Well, you know what I'm saying? Naturally, you know, of course, Ray and Ghost was our label mates, but
Mm,
we like kind of really bonded with them early on. You know what I mean? For whatever reason, I can't even call it, but you know, we bonded to Ray and Ghost, and we was like, yo, you know, we want to get them on the album. And Nas, of course, being from Queensbridge, you know what I mean? We already was familiar with him, and we was already had a natural relationship with him. So those choices for features on the album pretty much came natural.
okay. Now, did you realize, okay, I'll give you a perfect example. Public Enemy, when they did It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, they knew they were creating a classic album.
Right.
You know, The Infamous was going to be a classic album?
Nah, I definitely didn't have no idea. I ain't gonna lie to you. When you got albums like Illmatic out and
Right.
36 Chambers,
Yeah.
you kind of it'll humble somebody, you know what I mean?
Yeah, right, right. That was a super, you know,
Word.
super competitive. How did Loud Records factor in? Like, they were, you admitted like you kind of had a failure basically with Juvenile.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, signing to Loud though, it was such a bold, big step with a label that was already, just popping, hitting.
yeah.
Um, how did that part of it come into play?
Well, you know, Matty C, you know
Mm,
what I'm saying? He had his hands in a lot of things and he had a few connections and he knew Steve Rifkin, him and Matty C and Scott Free, and they still believed in us, even though the project prior to the one we was about to embark on didn't do so good, but they still believed in us and they brought it to Steve Rifkin and Steve Rifkin was with it.
mhm.
He was with it. So, you know, they set up a meeting, you know, back when Steve just had one cubicle.
Yeah.
And, you know, he was like, yo, guys, I'm loving what I'm hearing. You know, I would like to sign y'all. And we was just happy to get another deal at that point. You know what I mean? And the rest was history.
Dope. Now, fortunately, we've been blessed to, really hear a chemistry. You and Prodigy had a chemistry. When you first started, honestly, I couldn't really even tell one from the other. You guys were
Mhm.
almost perfect. It's just like Run DMC, EPMD. Y'all had that chemistry, but y'all's chemistry was special in a almost, yeah, it was very unique. Can you speak on that? The chemistry y'all had?
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? The chemistry that we had was like we first off, we was close. You know what I mean? We was tight, you know, early on. We spent mad time with each other, just, you know, with our dreams. And that was just one aspect of it. And personally, we was tight, you know what I mean? So it that kind of led into the creative end. And we both had two different personalities, you know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
We wasn't the same, you know what I mean, personality wise. Prodigy is more of an outgoing person. You know what I mean? I'm like more introverted. So those two together, those opposites create, you know what I mean, a monster. You know what I mean? So um, I think that really, you know, made the group from the outside looking in, when somebody looks at it, it's like, yo, man, the way, you know, just like you described it, like the way that they two rock together and the chemistry that they had, it just was perfect because, you know, sometimes, you know, some things that P would do, I would be like, yo, what you doing? But then, you know, I just shut the F up and let him rock. And then I'm questioning myself, why did I even question him? Like, so, you know, early I knew to just let P be P, and Prodigy did the same thing. He just let me be me. And we really never questioned each other when it came to the music.
Yeah, so from a production standpoint, you are known as the producer side. But early on, how it was more collaborative? How was that? Like, Prodigy, I guess, had initially taught you how to sample or something like that.
Yeah.
What's
Yeah.
the story behind that?
The story behind that goes that Prodigy had this beautiful grandmother of a person, and you know, she's seen us, you know, striving to become artists and you know, rappers, and she bought him some equipment. You know what I mean? It's pretty expensive too. You know what I mean? At the time, 1993. You know, she brought him studio equipment. Prodigy called me. I went to his house immediately in Long Island, and I just wanted to know how to work it. You know what I'm saying? He was already in there, you
Yeah,
know what I'm saying, doing his thing.
yeah.
But, you know, me being as ambitious as I was and him not being selfish, he showed me how to work the equipment. You know what I mean? And once he showed me how to work the equipment, I never got off it.
Nice.
So I got selfish at the time.
Is it true now? You know, a lot of us, you know, we all used to rap and do beats. Now, you started out on the EPS, the Ensoniq.
Yes, because that's what his grandmother bought for him. You know what I
That
mean?
was the joint back in the day.
That's what I made Shook Ones on. You know what I'm saying?
Oh wow,
Word.
that's crazy. That's dope.
Word.
Man, that's crazy. So talk about your favorite song. I might have just said it, but you know, what's your favorite song on the Infamous?
My most favorite song on the Infamous, and you know, people ask me that a lot, and it's probably the corny answer, but I have to say Shook Ones. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Straight up off top. You
yeah,
know, I know it's an obvious choice, but
yeah.
sometimes not too obvious. Sometimes people pick tracks that, you know, like a sleeper on the album. But I say Shook Ones because Shook Ones set the tone for the whole Mobb Deep career and beyond.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Now you know, I was, you know, a fan, period. But I used to DJ, and I remember Shook One's Part One. You know,
Yeah.
so by the time Part Two came, I had already memorized Part One, and I was like, yo, I like Part One though. So I was like, yo, changed it up. You know, at first I was like a little tight over there. You know what I'm saying? Barely get Shook One's Part One now. Like it's
Oh
real,
yeah.
it's real rare.
Yeah, Shook One's Part One is a rare gem, but when I go back and find it and I listen to it, I just, you know, I love it.
Yeah, now that's would you say that was the bridge almost, no pun intended, between the two albums?
Absolutely. Because when we made Shook One's Part One, we knew we was on to something. You know what I'm saying? And but you know, we all still was like, you know, we paranoid. You know what I mean? Me and Prodigy paranoid. We already came off a failed project, so we had to go in and mess with it one more time.
Yeah, dope. You know, I've been trying to interview you for a long time, and it's funny you talk about being introverted. You know, I'm a introvert myself, man. So the whole Corona thing hasn't really bothered me, man. I'm actually like, yo, I ain't got to talk to a bunch of people. I'm fine. You know, I'm cool with that. You know what I'm saying?
Word.
I go up to the city, like, all right, I'm all right with that. You know, I'm cool in the crib, create. You know, even doing this, I'm like, wow, we could actually do this from the crib. You know what I'm saying? But
man.
you know, in terms of you guys, man, you know, first of all, as a fan, as a professional, even, you know, I just gotta salute y'all. And I look back on all hip hop, and you know, we've seen y'all. I mean, you know, I know personally, I started interviewing y'all personally in like the early 2000s, and you know, man, I just gotta salute y'all, man, because the energy y'all brought, it really transcended hip hop. You know, I was in
Yeah.
college when Shook Ones came out,
Wow.
but
Wow. Yeah.
the energy and the music, it was like an eye for an eye. Your beef is mine. You know, I'm running around, oh scraps, but not like, not really in the hood, nothing like that. We in
Yeah.
college, but
Yeah.
you know, we had anthems too that we could rock to. Um,
Mhm.
you know, were you guys you know, going through things, or were y'all just, you know, well, you know, I mean, it's so many quotables. You know, you said I stay in a project forever, and I'm like,
Yeah.
like forever? You know,
Right.
it's like just mad quotables, man. Like,
Yeah.
what was life like? Is my question.
Life in the hood and in the projects, back in the projects, your typical average, you got your drug dealing, you got your crews, your cliques, you got your shooting, and and then you got your positivity too, you know what I'm saying, the brotherhood, you know what I'm saying, of the whole thing. So that's why, you would hear me say a line like, no matter how much loot I get, I'm staying in the projects, because I could never ever imagine myself disassociating myself, you know what I'm saying, from the hood, because the hood, even though it's tough, it showed me love and I embrace it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, I went to Queensbridge maybe a year ago or something. Kanye had an event out there. I don't know if you were there.
Yeah, I was there. I was
Yeah.
there.
I'll be honest, I wasn't really feeling it. I was like,
Hmm.
Kim Kardashian, we got, you know, some I see on one side it's like yuppies or whatever, they looking
Right,
down on us.
right. Hmm.
On the other side, the police are stopping the hood from getting in the event.
Yeah.
Um, what's your, you know, thoughts on the situation
Um,
now?
my thoughts on the situation is it was surreal to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, cause I remember that area was a junkyard before. You
Mm,
understand what I'm saying? Straight junkyard. As kids, we used to climb in there and get hurt. You know
mm,
what I mean? And to see that, to have like a Kanye and a Kim Kardashian and Two Chainz, all these people and Nas throwing an album release party there.
mhm,
Regardless if the people was from there or not,
right.
it just was messing my head up. I was bugging.
Yeah, yeah,
Only somebody that's from there could know what I'm talking about. Like at that time, I'm like, I can't believe I'm in the old junkyard, and I would have never uh imagined
yeah, yeah. That's crazy.
it.
Crazy. Prodigy, man. You know, I kind of like I never fully want to talk about it to you, you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
because it's such a, I mean, for me, it's painful. So for you, I truly can't imagine. But can you talk about P's legacy and the impact he's had on your life and the music and the industry?
Yeah, man. Peace legacy, while he was alive, he wasn't a person that bit his tongue. You know what I mean? He wasn't scared of controversy. You know what I'm saying? He walked to the beat of his own drum. You know what I mean? And I loved him for that. You know what I mean? Um, his legacy is going to be one of those things where he was an icon alive. You know what I mean? And he's always going to be remembered. You know what I mean? He was a larger than life figure. If you knew him, you loved him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, no, we definitely love P, and I was blessed to interview him shortly before he passed, and he was on another level. I mean, he's always been on
Yeah.
another level. Even when I first moved to New York, he was in the bookstore where I worked at, and he was
Wow.
in there getting knowledge. You know, this is
Yeah.
House of Nubian, and he would always pop in there, and you know, and I was like, wow, you know, this dude be coming in here, he's on another wavelength. I actually just bought his last album. It's crazy. His album got scrubbed off the internet, and
Mm.
you know, like not off YouTube, but off of Spotify. And I was like, man,
Right.
oh, right now, like, it was it too much knowledge or what? You know,
You know how it is.
joint. I paid like $30 for it. I was like, yo, let me grab this real quick.
Hmm. Hmm.
He was definitely, you know, in another space. Um, one thing I got to ask you, I was asking both of y'all last time and every time I could, I know y'all had got a vault out there somewhere, there's some stuff in the vault and it never has dropped even before his passing.
Right.
What's the status on the vaults?
Man, I mean, you said, there is a vault out there. The vault is definitely out there, and hopefully soon, what I mean, we'll be able to hear what's in that vault.
Yeah. All right. I'll leave it there. Y'all, from a legacy perspective, y'all, we Juvenile Hell was there, but y'all had that three-peat that, for the masses, could be longer depending on how big of a Mobb Deep fan you are, but you had three undeniable classics in a row: Infamous, Hell on Earth, and Murder Music. Now, just how does that feel like to have like that dominant run that most, it really escapes most groups?
It feels good. You know what I mean? We was just really determined to put out good music.
Mm-hmm.
And looking back on it now, it's not that easy to do.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? The second one would be a jinx, and the third one would be like bye. You know what I'm saying? So, I feel lucky. You know what I'm saying?
Who gives you that Murder Music sound now? Who you feeling like out here right now?
Oh, off top, Westside Gun and Conway, straight up. Like, you know what I mean? Those two dudes, man, and Benny the Butcher.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? When I listen to them, you know what I'm saying, I be on some like, man, these dudes right here, like it bring me back to like, cause the vibe that they on, you feel me? And the tracks that they pick to rap over, because they could be rapping over anything right now. I know dudes is coming at them crazy, but they beat selection is ill, and they lyrics is off the charts.
Yeah, they definitely have a dark sound that reminds me of early Mobb Deep for sure.
Word.
What you working on these days?
These days, you know what I'm saying, I'm just in the crib working on some tracks, a few new unsigned artists. I did a project with Method Man that should be coming out soon. That a few things here and there. You know what I'm saying, and also trying to dip my feet in the TV and film industry. You know what I'm saying, trying to jump in there as well. So I'm grinding.
Yeah. You trying to score things, or you trying to do
score films strictly scoring films?
That's what's up. Yeah, I heard about the Meth Project. I'll be keeping my tabs on you, bro. I'm telling you, man, keep my tabs up. So I knew about the Meth Project, and he's also on well, obviously back in the day with Mobb Deep, but
Extortion.
Yeah, he's on one of your solo albums too. I bump that all the time. When I work out, you know what I'm saying?
I'm trying to figure what that is, but he there.
Yeah. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I heard a rumor, man. I heard a rumor. I couldn't. There might be a beat battle with you and Alchemist.
Yeah, the beat battle thing, the versus thing that Swiss and Timberland is doing. I spoke to Swiss. I spoke to Al. You know what I'm saying? And that's a tough one right there, because that's like, that's going up against somebody in my crew. Like, you know what I'm saying? He'll be playing records that I'm on a part of, you know what I'm saying? So I'll be like battling myself almost, you know what I'm saying? He part of the crew. Like, it would be fun to me. So if it ever happened, it wouldn't even be a battle. Like, you know what I mean? It'd just be like, yo, you know what I'm saying? We just old shit, remember this? Like, you know what I'm saying? It'd be something like that. But the versus thing is, I think it's dope for the culture, man. Hopefully I could jump in there and, battle somebody,
Yeah. Did you tune into like Teddy Riley and
Of course I did.
Yeah, everybody.
Hell yeah. I was smiling from the start to the ending, you know what I'm saying? Like, Babyface was playing records. I was like, Teddy Riley playing records. I'm like, yo.
Yeah, so it took me back too, man. It took me back. But that's how I look at you and Al. I'm like, man, you know, these guys are friends, and also there's a high respect level and evenly yoked too. You know, like meaning
Yeah.
obviously from my vantage point, you know, you got a lot of the bigger records, but you can't sleep on Al because
No.
he put in so much work. You know.
Nah, Al got some records. Like, you know what I'm saying? So if anybody jump in the ring and think that because if they got some kind of hits or something like that, that'd be like, you know, when Tyson walked in the ring with Buster Douglas. You know what I'm saying? They're like, you know, they be like this all confident. And next thing you know, we wake up next day, we like, oh shit, Tyson, he got, you know what I'm saying?
Right, yeah, for sure.
You know, Al's not having it. You know what I mean? Like,
and the battles are different anyway. Sometimes it's the selection, you know, because
right.
everybody had Preem killing RZA, but RZA, you know, selected it right, and he maybe, you know, maybe.
You know, I always say both of them was winners because they both my friends. So you know, I ain't even gonna go there with it, but it just makes you realize, you know, how many records RZA has. You know what I'm saying? And both of them didn't even really tap into most of the things they had.
Yeah, for sure. Now talk about this thing you got going on with Caffeine. You know, dedicated to the 25th anniversary of the Infamous.
Yeah, so you know, I hooked up with Caffeine. Shout out to them, the people over at Caffeine. It's a streaming site, you know, where I'm gonna be celebrating for 2 hours tomorrow, starting at like 6 or 7 o'clock, and you know, I'm gonna have a few celebrity guests going on. You know what I mean? People that was involved with the project, taking you know, questions from the fans and showing clips and you know, nostalgic videos of me and P. And later I will do a performance on the channel.
Okay, and that's Saturday, right?
Yep, tomorrow. Today's Friday, right?
Today's Friday, yeah.
Okay, yeah. This quarantine thing, every day feel like Saturday.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Word.
How hard? I know this is a lot of you guys. You know, UMP went through lots of ups and downs.
Yeah.
I've been in business with Greg, Grouchy Greg, for 23 years. Trust me, I know we a lot. But at the end of the day, you guys, you know, you did work things out. How was it, you know, going through those ups and downs, and ultimately, how do you, you know, how did it, you know, were y'all at peace? How did things, you know, end, so to speak?
You know, me and Prodigy met early. You know what I'm saying? We was kids. We grew into adults. We both had two different sets of personalities, and we became brothers. And then, you know, brothers, they get into things. You know what I mean? But they always gonna be family. It's just like that. You know. Towards the end, you know, me and Pete, we had you know, little problems or whatever, and we worked it out. We worked out our problems. Because at the end of the day, any problem that me and him ever kind of like quarrel we had with each other, we understood that, you know, Mobb Deep was bigger than our personal problems. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, we would throw those, bury the hatchet on that. And then plus, like I said, at the end of the day, me and him was like brothers. And I was glad that I got a chance to reconcile with him, you know what I mean? And actually became a little bit more even closer to him. Like, how when I first met him and how we was thugging it out before all of this Mobb Deep stuff. So I was blessed to, you know, that happened. And you know, I'm gonna miss him forever. I just feel like, you know, something's missing. You know, this celebration is a bittersweet celebration, you know what I mean? But man, RIP to my brother.
Yeah. I mean, definitely, bro. Like, yeah, I mean, obviously, man, I can't relate completely, but I do feel like I lost a family member, you know. As crazy as that may sound to you.
Yeah, no, it sounds official.
Yeah. So, yeah, for real, salute P. You know, one of the things that does make me feel good though is like, you know, like I said, you know, y'all had your own language almost, you know. And I realized back then I was doing the same thing y'all was doing, but I wasn't from QB. We was calling each other Dun and Thun, and I was like, wait, years later, I'm like, oh man, I wasn't even our slang like that.
Right.
I know that's not really a question, but it just to me speaks to the impact, of the movement, really, which is what it was.
Yeah, because I mean, it just shows you how influential artists can be. You know what I mean? Even today. And sometimes artists say like, well, I don't want to be a role model. I'm not a role model or whatever. But you step into those shoes the moment you pick up that microphone, whether you like it or not. And it could be a good and a bad thing. You know what I mean?
Now, this is off topic a little bit too, but we saw in a picture with Kanye. I had already heard a little thing here and there about him working. Y'all putting in some work?
I was hanging out with. He called me. I went over to hang with Kanye, and we was just really kind of like talking and vibing more than even doing music. You know what I mean? Because that's what type of vibe he be on. So we was like kind of vibing. It wasn't really all music, but hopefully it'll turn into that. But it was just more of like just hanging out type vibe.
Yeah. Okay. What about working with Conway and them? I mean,
with Conway.
Yeah, like
I would love to work with those guys. You know what I'm saying? And even if I never worked with them, I always got their back 150% all day long. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's crazy how they come from Buffalo to me too, because I've been up there once or twice, and it's a different vibe. But if you've been there, you kind of get it.
Yeah, I've been to Buffalo a few times probably, and it's different from the city, but you know what I'm saying, that that vibe is there. They don't come from nothing too much different from where we came from. They up there, and they made it. They stamped the flag for their town.
Yeah, for sure. All right, man. Well, anyway, I ain't gonna hold you too long, but any like final words on Mobb Deep, what you got going on? Actually, you know what? Let me backtrack. You as a producer, definitely, I'm putting you definitely in my top 10. I could personally give you my top 5, my personal top 5.
Thank you.
What I mean? For sure. You mentioned it yourself, you're more of an introverted type of dude.
Yeah.
Same with me. I ain't gonna lie. Like, I see some of my peers, and I'm like, man, these cats is famous, and they just doing their thing, and I'm like feeling away sometimes. Do you ever? You sort of underrated, you know what I mean? And I mean that respect.
No doubt.
Do you attribute that to your personality, or are you more family oriented? Like, what would you attribute that to?
I could definitely probably attribute it to my personality. You understand what I'm saying? Because I'm not the type of person that just always on the scene, and you know what I mean, and shouting my name. You know what I mean? And through it all, I still got recognized. You know what I'm saying? Without having to bark the loudest or nothing like that. But I could attribute it to my personality, because in this game right here, it's about if you're not there, you forgotten. You know what I mean? Like, you got to be on that scene a lot and just, be active. And I'm really laid back, you know what I mean? And, what you put out is what you get back. So sometimes I'm laid back, you get a laid back response. But the things that I created push through that, you know what I'm saying? And people, come out and they salute me. They be like, yo, son, I rock with you. You underrated, but I rock with you. And you know what? That's good enough for me. You know what I'm saying? Because like I said, I'm laid back anyway.
Yeah. Well, from me, in all hip hop, just know that we full support in you, and if you do ever need any press or something you want to get a word out on, don't hesitate. Let us know.
Thank you, man. I appreciate that.
Yeah. What are your final words on Mobb Deep? 25 years of the infamous, the legacy, anything.
My final thoughts on Mobb Deep and his 25 year legacy. I just want to say thank you to everybody that helped it happen. You know what I mean? I want to say rest in peace to P. He'll always be by my side in spirit, never to be forgotten. And you know, I'm gonna make the next 25 years even greater.
Yo, thank you very much, bro.
Thank you.
Big salute.
Thank you.
Continued success.
Thank you, bro.
All right.